Now, in double angle identities, it is a special variation of the sum identity wherein the two angles A and B are equal. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's take the double angle identity for sine. Since sabi nga natin kanina na ang A and B natin is equal, we can just write it as A is A plus A or B plus B. But for ano na lang, convenience, sulat na natin siya as A plus A. Pwede rin naman B plus B. Now, if you can still remember the pattern of the sum identity for sine, it's sine cos cosine, sine, and since all of them, and since A is equal to B, we can just write now this one, yan, or kahit B yan, okay lang naman, since they are the same value. Now, since addition siya, addition din dito sa labas, kasi sine din. Now, it's just a matter of simplifying this. Dalawang terms, so we can write it as 2 sine of A cosine of B. I mean cosine of A. Or it's just simply 2 sine of A cosine of A. Now this is our double angle identity for sine. Now let us derive the double angle identity for cosine. You can still remember the pattern for the cosine. It's cos cosine sine. Now let's just write this one. And since addition to, dapat subtraction na sa labas kasi cosine. Now, simplify natin. Cosine times cosine will give you cosine squared of A minus sine times sine will give you sine squared of A. Now, in cosine, hindi lang ito yung yung variation ng double angle identity. Meron pa tayong tatlo. Kasi tignan natin yung formula. We have here, we can see that we can simplify this further, or we can derive something here by using the Pythagorean identity. Now, sulat natin muna. Cosine of A plus A will give you. Now, what identity? Tignan natin tong formula na to. Cosine squared A minus squared. How can we simplify this? Now, we can substitute it, we can write it in terms of sine. So, ang cosine identity ng, ang sine, we can write it in terms of sine. So, this cosine squared of A based on our Pythagorean identity will become 1 minus sine squared of A minus sine squared of A. And it's just a matter of simplifying. 1 sine squared A minus sine squared A, so it's just like saying 1 negative 1 minus 1 will just give you negative 2 sine squared of A. Now this is our second. Mayroon pa tayong pangatlo kasi we can now write it in terms of, instead ng sine, we can write it now in terms of cosine. Now, cosine is equal to, still remember this, yung formula na to, yan, yung formula na yan, we can now write it in terms of cosine. Now, cosine squared of A minus, ang identity ng sine squared of A ay 1 minus cosine squared of theta. 1 minus 1 minus cosine squared of A. Yan. It's just a matter of simplifying na lang. Since negative, let's distribute. We can write it. We can write this as co cosine squared of a minus, so magiging minus 1, then this one to negative. Negative times negative is positive. So magiging positive siya. Cosine squared of a. Now, let's simplify. Since dalawa ang cosine, we can now write it as 2 cosine of a, cosine squared of a, then the minus 1. Now, ito yung ating tatlong variations for the cosine identity ng, ito ang ating tatlong variations ng double angle identity for cosine. Now, let us derive the tangent identity, the double angle identity for tangent. But red. Now, let's write tangent of, since a is equal to b ulit, we can just write as a plus a or b plus b. Since equal naman sila sa each other. Now, when talking about tangent, laging tandaan, merong numerator, denominator, may division tayo nangyayari. And the pattern for the tangent will be tan 1, tan. Tan 1, tan. Now, it's just a matter of writing the variables. Now, yung operation sa numerator will be the same inside the parentheses and opposite naman sa denominator. Now, it's just a matter of simplifying again. Tan A plus tan A, so just 1 plus 1 is 2. Dalawa ang ating tangent, so maging 2 tangent of A over 1 minus tangent of A multiplied by tangent of A will give you tangent squared of A. Now, this is the double angle identity for tangent. So, in summary, these are the double angle identities for sine, cosine, and tangent. And we will use this to solve several problems regarding double angle identities. Now, let us try to solve this problem. Given that tangent of theta is equal to negative 3 over 4 and that theta is in quadrant 2, let us find the following. Sine of, the double angle identity of sine, cosine, and tangent. Let us go with sine first. Ay, bakit black? Yan. Sine of A na lang isulat natin. Or, sige, A na lang. A na nga lang. Is equal to, hindi natin, wait lang. Sine of 2A is equal to 2 sine of A cosine of A. Now, looking back at the problem, we don't have the values of cosine of A and sine of A. But we can use the 6 trigonometric ratios to find the values for sine and cosine. Now, let us look at tangent. Tangent, sabi sa ating trigonometric ratios, tangent is equal to y over x. Now, since given na yung tangent natin, we can assume that 3 is our y and 4 is our x. Now, since negative siya, dapat isa sa kanila magiging negative. So, we will just assume that negative 3 will be our negative. So, y is equal to negative 3 and x will be equal to 4. Now, can we solve the sine and cosine? No, kasi wala pa tayong r. And both sine and cosine needs r. Now, let us solve for r using the Pythagorean theorem. Now, 4 squared, wait lang, x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Now, negative 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to r squared. Now, 9 squared plus 16 squared is equal to r squared. 9 plus 16 is 25 squared. 25 is equal to r squared. Square both sides for us to get the r. R is equal to 5. Now, our r is equal now to 5. Now, since we already have the values of x, y, and r, we can now find the value of sine and cosine. Now, since r is equal to 5, we can just write sine of a is equal to y. Our y is negative 3. And our r is equal to 5. And our cosine will be equal to x, which is 4, over r, which is 5. Now, these are our values for the sine and cosine. There we go. Lagyan na natin dyan. Now, it's just a matter of substituting. Is equal to 2. Ang ating sine of a is equal to negative 3 over 5 multiplied by the cosine of a, which is 4 over 5. Now, let's solve. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 over 5 times 5 is 25 multiplied by 2. So, ang ating final answer ay, hindi ko alam. Check ko sa calculator. Negative 24 over 25 ata. Negative 12 times 25 times 2. Yeah, is equal to negative 24 over 25. So, this is our the value for the double angle identity of sine. Now, let us solve for the cosine identity for this problem. Now, since meron tayong tatlong variations for the formula of cosine, we can use any of them and it will give the same answer. But alin ba yung mas fitting? Yung may 1 minus sine squared of theta na ganyan, yung may cosine squared of theta plus 1, or yung ating cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta. Since given naman ang cosine of theta and sine of theta, we can use this naman. Pero, we can use this one kung ano yung mas comfortable sa inyo. But for now, we will use the cosine square of theta minus sine squared of theta. Sulat natin. Cosine of 2a is equal to cosine squared of a minus sine squared of a. Now, let us plug the values. Cosine squared of a will, since cosine of a, it will be, wait lang, nagbukas yung ano ko publisher. Ayan, na-close na. Anyways, since cosine of a is 4 over 5, we can just write 4 over 5 squared, kasi nga yung cosine squared of a natin is squared, minus sine 3 over 5 squared. 3 over 5 squared. Now, let us simplify. 4 over 5 raised to 2 is 8. 8 over 25. 16 pala. 8. 16 over 25 minus 3 over 5 raised to 2 is 9 over 25. Now, since denominator niya is the same, let's just copy. Now, 16 minus 9, ano nga ba? 7 ba? 7 nga. So, 16 minus 9 is equal to 7. Then, same denominator. So, just copy. Yan. So, ang ating cosine 2a is equal to 7 over 25. Now, let us get the tangent double angle identity for tangent for this problem. Now, since given na yung value ng tangent, we can just plug it to the formula. The tangent, the tangent of 2a will be equal to 2 tangent of a over 1 minus tangent squared ng a. Now, lagay lang natin dito. Now, let us substitute 2 multiplied by the tangent of a, or the tangent of theta, is equal to negative 3 over 4 from this problem, from this problem, over 1 minus tangent squared of a will be negative 3 over 4 squared. Now, let's simplify. Malaki masyado. Litan natin. Yan. Let us simplify. 2 times negative 3 over 4 will be 6 over 4 over 1 minus 3, so will be 9 over 16. Let us simplify the denominator first, since ang 1 over 1 minus 9 over 16, ang LCD niya is 16. Now 16 divided by 1 will be 16 times 1 will be 16 minus 16 divided by 16 is 1 times 9 will be 9. Will be 9. 16 minus 9 is 7. So, ang ating denominator is 7 over 16. Yan, sulat lang natin. 7 over 16. Now, let us simplify now. Since division, kukunin natin yung reciprocal ng denominator, which is 16 over 7. 16 multiplied na. I-multiply natin. 16 over 7. Now, multiply 16 times 6. 16 times 6 will be 96 over 4 times 7. Will be 28. Now, simplify. 96 over 28 is 24 over 7. Ayaw nga pala. May negative nga pala kasi nga negative 2 nasa taas. So, 2 times 3 over 4, negative 3 over 4 should be negative 6 over 4 multiplied by this. So, dapat ito, ayan. So, ang ating final answer should be 20, ba't nasama yung equal sign? Will be 24 over, negative 24 over 7. Yan. So, nahanap na natin ang ating 3 values, sine, cosine of tangent, for this given problem. So, that's the end of our lesson regarding double angle identities. Sana magamit nyo for the upcoming periodical test for pre-calculus. Yun lang, and goodbye.